Back again in Animoji gaming, so this time I tried to complete the 46 minutes of video of the second time, I guess, playing with my dream gadget, the GPD with Max 2 6800U, 16 GB of RAM, DDR4, 5, I'm not sure, but it should be a dual channel, and the 1 TB of SSD and NVMe by Bwin brand, the 2280 single-sided SSD. So at this time I have finally succeeded installing the 2230 SSD, which I tried to place the 256 from Kioxia or Toshiba, and yeah, it is pretty convenient. So it's kind of act like the cartridge or a disc in the console, so you can easily swap it if you eventually need more storage in the different games, or maybe perhaps, I'm not sure. So all of this 45 minutes is basically just playing one game, which is the Point Blank Beyond Limits. It is already the third times, I guess, for the Point Blank in Indonesia have changed the distributor, since it is not really that popular again, especially when most people are already playing mobile games instead of PC games anymore. So the internet cafe is not really popular like they used to be when I was still in the junior high school, which is already, I don't know, more than 10 years ago, I guess. So yeah, it is. I'm not sure why it is pretty annoying. There's always a pop-up every time I try to play the games. So I was playing it using the HDMI video capture into the MacBook Pro 13-inch 2018 quad-core processor. So it is not as smooth as it used to be. I'm not sure why, but and the resolution is really weird as well, but oh well, since I'm most likely gonna be record this just for once, and the rest of it I will eventually stream to Twitch, even though yesterday I tried to do that and it can only last for around 15 minutes for some reason, because my internet is just so struggle when trying to play online games and streaming at the same time. So yeah, it is pretty annoying, but I'm just not sure why the recording is not as bad as the screen that I was basically seeing on the monitor. So I use even the external monitor that connected into the MacBook Pro. So maybe because I'm still not using the full HD resolution yet, even though all of the others graphical setting is already set to the maximum. Since basically this is obviously a live game, so really a lot of resources. So the 8-core CPU is pretty overkill to play this game. If you talk about my monitor, the internal or the external one, I think it's only capable of 60 Hz video, so it's, yeah, once again, it is real overkill, so I cannot really utilize the FPS that basically can be generated from this handheld PC gaming handheld. So even though I have already installed the 2230 SSD, which basically initially wanted to be used for the heavier games, because the heavier games has a lot of space required So that's the reason why I tried to use the second storage for installing that. But it turns out the Watchdog Legion that I basically already installed on my old gaming PC cannot be played directly. So I'm not sure whether has to be installed from the beginning, which I'm still not doing it yet, since I'm gonna be wait until I buy another 2230 to 56 gigabyte of SSD. So yeah, basically I'm actually wanted to buy a different kind of capacity, but the 256 is just the perfect in terms of space and price, because that's the cheapest thing, the cheapest 2230 SSD that I can find on the marketplace. So basically it is come from not really common laptop, I guess. It's from the Latitude Business laptop, which they say it is upgraded into the 512 gigabyte, but it's very hard to find the sell or that's still selling the 512, and the only remaining is just with a ridiculous price, which is almost 5 times more expensive than the 256. So that's the reason why it just doesn't make any sense. And if you talk about the 1 terabyte of storage, it's almost 15 times more expensive than the 256. Even though it's just 4 times bigger, it should be just 4 times bigger. That's the reason why it is pretty ridiculous, because people even try to sell the 64 gigs with a more expensive price, because they said it was sold directly from the Steam Decks. That's the reason why it is pretty expensive, because Steam Deck it's still fairly expensive here in Indonesia, because it's not officially distributed by the Steam, of course. So yeah, I'm trying to play on the MS station, and I'm just not sure why this, because the sound is just cannot be recorded. So I'm using the Groza. It's basically a free weapon that I get when I first registered. For some reason, it is look like an AUG, obviously, but with less ammunition, because it's only 30. It's like a regular AUG or Stayer AUG that basically need the title in order to buy it, and it is pretty expensive as well. So that's the reason why. It's pretty annoying. I'm not sure whether all of this was basically a cheater. Yeah, it is definitely a cheater, because he can shoot a sniper without even have the scope for it. Yeah, it is really annoying. I hate that. It's basically a training server that basically didn't produce a lot of points, but I'm just not sure why they're still like to cheat in here for some reason. So reason why this pretty long, because I'm actually record the whole several games, I guess, until I eventually get bored. So even for a single game, it can waste more than 20 minutes for this maximum deathmatch with the 160 kills, but since the score is the one that faster to be reached, so it will not be that long. So if we actually kill so many people, we can actually get a lot of points and a lot of experience, just like playing a bomb mission, which is more longer than that match. But yeah, it is pretty annoying when we get killed by the same people over and over again, which obviously make the enemy's team win the game. So there's almost half differences. If we try to play in the winning side, in the side where there's a cheater, it is also will not give us a lot of points or experience as well, because it is pretty hard for us to kill the remaining players, because most of the players already killed by them. So it is pretty annoying.
Blue team win.
So to be honest, I'm not sure what I'm going to talk for the rest of the video, but yeah, I just don't get why the background music is just so late to be shown. So basically I already tried to upload some of the movies videos that I tried to create last week, so that's the reason why the remaining video that I can make is maybe related to life motivation, perhaps, like, or IT related, like what I used to do in the Anchor, which is distributed into several kind of platform for the podcast. It is very short podcast, obviously, because I try to do it on myself without having a conversation with the other people. And I'm just not sure why I'm just not doing anything in this video. Maybe I'm currently in AFK or for some reason, even though the recording is obviously still going on. Recorded through Zoom. So yeah, not sure. Basically, I'm still having one more unboxing video after this that I can make Animoji, but so the rest of it still need to be moved from other storage, or I try to record another video. I'm not sure, because yeah, the viewers that I can get is also not the way that I expected. So at some point I just feel so lazy to do it again, but oh well, because the more that I wasting my time, the more that I will regret in the future. So it's okay if I didn't get too much as I expected, as long as I already tried to be productive most of my time, rather than just focusing on a single type of work, which basically cannot be get used to, because yeah, when you talk about career in certain company, it also has so many luck that you need in order to get what you deserve. So yeah, unless you're trying to move into other companies which basically will not have the same amount of busyness or productivity, so I'm just afraid that I cannot no longer do what my other personal productivity while moving to the other companies. So that's why I try to see and wait for other people to test it first. Because yeah, it's not really urgent for me. So yeah, I already tried to come back from the AFK and try to find another room. Obviously not the same map because I just
Okay,
like
let's go.
it to do, because if I try to play with the same map over and over again, it will make us bored. Because yeah, playing online games is just all about playing it over and over again in order to achieve something, but yeah, it just basically endless unless you're already in the highest title and already have so many weapons and items. So even for that, there's still a YouTuber that basically play this game, still like to play this game. And yeah, it seems not quite nice as well, because yeah, this game is basically make a lot of emotion, more emotion than regular CSGO, which basically a similar game and used to be a popular game as well, especially when I already in college, even though it is much harder than playing this game because CSGO is all about skills and the movement, or when it comes to shooting other players, it's not as easy as this game as well. So at some point it is all about, I don't know, precision perhaps.
Fire in the hole!
So I think I will most likely want to play CSGO as well, because right now the CSGO is already free, so I can actually use any kind of my new Steam account to play it, because I'm still not brave enough to log in into my main account in this to engage it until certain points that I'm not sure when. Don't know. Maybe it will never be happen. I'm not sure, because I do prefer to log in and maybe real PC gaming. Not sure. So down is kind of the easiest death match because the map is so small. It's like the same mansion, which is I used to be really like it as well for buy one with other players with my school friends, rather than the crackdown, which basically too big for two players to fight each other. So that's the reason why Saint Mansion is more appropriate. But when it comes to 4 versus 4, Crackdown is just the best. Because if you talk about the 4 versus 4 in the same mansion, it's pretty ridiculous because we are immediately see each other without having to be hidden from anywhere inside the map. So yeah, that's the reason why. So I'm not sure whether this is actually the last match that I recorded, because there's still around 27 minutes. But the match is also in the maximum number of killing and in maximum time. So I'm not sure which one will get faster, whether the score or the time. But yeah, it's pretty long. If we really need the time to see which teams win the match. So even though this was basically a PC handheld, but I still haven't tried to play it without connecting it to a charger for some reason, because yeah, I just don't want to make the battery has a lot of cycle count perhaps, but I'm not sure whether it is actually good for the battery or not. But oh well, because yeah, the initial reason to buy this PC gaming handheld, even though it was supposed to be portable, but since I currently didn't have a proper PC gaming as well, so I think I am will gonna be like with like a charger as well. So yeah, it's okay. But of course, when there's time for me to go to somewhere places where I cannot charge the device, but I still have several times to wait or wasting my time, I'm obviously gonna be using it in a portable way. Besides, I'm still can able to stream it as well, but I'm not sure whether the 4G or LTE connectivity is stable enough for me to stream into Twitch while also playing the game, because basically I don't want to waste time for playing a game without having some sort of documentation that hopefully can be useful in the future for people to see what I used to play. Because yeah, I think Twitch's live stream is a permanent storage if we already highlight the video, but if we didn't highlight the video, it will be delayed in several days. So at some point, assault rifle is good if you talk about long range, but if you go about short range, you really don't need a submachine gun that have a big rate of fire, such as the MP7, one of the favorite submachine gun in this game, and it is pretty cheap as well, and basically every title can buy it immediately. So that's the reason why after I no longer have these free weapons, I eventually buy the MP7 and try to pick up another player's weapon when needed. But yeah, it is pretty not really useful as well, because at the time that we pick up other people's weapon, we are not really kill so many people, and we just responded with our own weapons, obviously. So yeah, unlike the previous point blank that I last played, I guess it used to be forbidden for other players to retrieve their weapons, but right now even the enemy players can be used. So yeah, it's pretty good. Consider there's so many items that are basically more useful than a weapon, because there's also a medic kit which can regenerate our life, especially for the bomb mission, which is really useful when you are mistakenly shot until you have very low amount of health, and it can regenerate very good, giving you a second chance perhaps. I'm not sure whether how many this item can be carry, but Yeah, it is pretty expensive item and can only be bought using real money for some reason. So yeah, just like reinforced characters and other kind of that stuff. It's also pretty annoying. So yeah, I will most likely lose this game as well. Just really annoying.
Fire in the hole!
But I'm not sure how that we can actually get a permanent weapons. Most likely it's a lot of real money, obviously. Because yeah, this game is no longer popular. That's why there's several unique things that you can get in this game as long as you are already spent a lot of money into this game. So that's the reason why there's some permanent weapons for people to use. But that's not really matters because I think as long as you basically still didn't have the ability, all the players have the same ability to have a permanent weapon, I think it is still kind of a play to win games, unlike the CSGO. Even though CSGO is also selling skins for their weapons, but it definitely didn't matters because it's just a skin, so the accuracy or the power damage is all the same.
Fire in the hole!
So if you talk about the skin of the weapon in this game, there's a lot of, I think there are so many weapons that basically no longer sell in the shop, but you can still basically use it as long as you have those collection. But I'm not sure whether if it was basically get from the previous distributor, whether it is possible or not. I think if you can transfer the character out of the asset, seems to be the same as well, unless the new developer decided to map or to convert the item into a different skin, perhaps. I'm not sure. So, because the ID, the username of my old account in the previous distributor, for some reason, it cannot be used anymore in this game. So basically, even if I'm not trying to migrate it, I think I think the previous distributor decided to migrate all the remaining data, perhaps into the new distributor. I'm not sure, but I'm still trying to find out how to basically recover those accounts, even though it is pretty much unnecessary because if I try to buy another account online, it's already pretty cheap as well. So I think the last time that I was trying to play this game on the previous distributor is also from the account that I bought in the marketplace. So I used to sell my own account in the marketplace as well, but it is very old marketplace that's no longer, it's still available, but it is so sad that most people already abandoned those marketplace due to yeah cannot catch up with the era that already use mobile application, so their mobile application is not really updated, has a very bad user interface or user experience. So yeah, I'm still having a 17 minutes to play another match. This is not the last one that I play, that I record. So I most likely try to play a bomb mission perhaps, or another deathmatch in different maps. So if you talk about selling accounts, usually the account didn't have a lot of weapons because I was playing another match in one of my favorite maps. I think it's also, if you talk about favorite maps, it is also happened to be with the new player or old player, I guess, because it is always a pretty interesting thing, perhaps, for the original to be stay confidence on playing. Yeah, it is annoying when there's snipers, one kill, one shot, and they seems to use kind of like a cheat. Even though at some point it can be a skill as well, but it's just hard to differentiate it unless we're trying to approach the sniper in the short combat. And it is pretty annoying. I didn't know it is so annoying that I get killed by the M2000 Shada. So yeah, it is one of the old weapons that has been available even
Red team
in
win.
the previous distributor, but right now it's just have a different skin for some reason. So basically, if you talk about the weapons collection on the account that was sold online, is usually not really much, especially for the weapons that basically can only be bought with the real money. So that's the reason why. Because if they had so many of those type of weapon, of course it will eventually increase the price, because it's make the character worthy to be played rather than just top up with your real money to certain account to buy the same thing. So it's pretty annoying, even though at some point I just like to collect those real money weapons. You know,
Bomb has been planted.
it is not really useful for some reason, but oh well. And this player is really annoying. Is this the same cheater, or it is really their skill? I'm not sure.
Fire in the hole!
So I think this was most likely the last game that I played. I'm not sure whether I can complete the game or not, because I've been several times disconnected from the game for some reason, because my internet may be unstable, even when I didn't stream it into Twitch.
Bomb has been planted.
So
Okay, let's go.
Maybe because I didn't get the title to make the kind of character
Fire in the
have
hole!
better skills. So that's
Fire
the
in the
reason
hole!
why at some point title is still pretty much important, even though there's maximum title when it comes to the major title. So both major is no longer important because it's just basically the same. I think major title is already cheap as well because previously I bought Lieutenant account for a cheap price in the previous distributor. So right now it should be more
Bomb
accounts to
has
be
been
sell.
planted.
P90MC, one of the most expensive weapons that can be bought without a title. It is pretty good, but yeah, it didn't have a lot of ammunition, unlike the weapons that same weapon, but one that bought with the real money. It has
Okay,
more
let's go.
ammunition in a single reload.
Fire in the hole!
I didn't
Fire in the hole!
kill anybody in this
Fire in the
bomb
hole! Fire in the hole!
mission. It's pretty annoying. Even though Rosa, it's not that bad weapons. I just don't know the reason why the grenade seems to be very fast to be exploded. Maybe the sensors that indicates the granite
Fire in the hole!
is a little bit late to be shown. Sure.
Bomb has been planted.
Get killed again without killing anybody.
All right, let's move out.
Not sure whether all of
Fire in the
those
hole! Fire in the hole!
players that basically have many skills it is related with their monitors
Fire
or
in the hole!
not. Because I think the games, if you talk about the game setting, it can only support to 60 Hz as well.
Fire in
It
the
is
hole!
actually related with the monitor that currently used for the game. Not sure. I'm
Bomb
really
has been
curious
planted.
how this game can handle the 360 Hz, perhaps. Sure. Finally, I can kill somebody, even though most likely it will still lose, I guess. Yeah, it's still lose for some reason.
Okay, let's go.
7 minutes remaining of this video.
Fire in the hole!
It's already pretty long for me to talk.
Fire in the
That's
hole!
the reason why I
Fire in
really
the
need
hole!
to spend several times in order to make this video. I didn't get
Fire
interrupted
in the hole!
in the middle. Even though, yeah, after I tried to create this video with a very big size, and a lot of money. Not much, a lot of time to spend, but it effectively
Fire in the hole!
only gives me just a single view, perhaps. I'm not sure. Unless I try to use the keyword
All
of
right, let's move
my
out.
trim gadget, which is a little bit have more attraction, maybe because those trim gadget
hole!
is still pretty rare.
Fire in the hole!
That's the reason why many people still waiting for
Fire in the hole!
theirs to come. So maybe
Fire in the
it
hole!
has always appeared
hole!
to
Fire in the hole!
their recommendation whenever there is
Fire
a
in the
new
hole! Fire in the hole!
video uploaded related to those titles. So it's like a viral topic for some reason, but it is still pretty segmented for some reason because YouTube algorithms maybe really filtered really personalized video.
Bomb has been planted.
So that's the reason why. Even though basically if you talk about the recording using the HDMI video capture like this without showing the real footage of the trim gadget, it is kind of like a regular PC and you just need to lie like this wasn't a real trim gadget recording.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole!
Yeah.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole!
Oh well, maybe I don't like to be lying, so I try to be honest that this actually a real recording from the dream gadget. If you still didn't give me the same number of viewers like others more popular YouTubers, obviously. Even if you talk about the time that I basically already in YouTube, it's already so long, almost 15 years ago, I guess. I'm not sure. One of my first video recording was when I just graduated from the elementary school, which is already a long time ago. And yeah, many YouTubers has already been changed. One that used to be popular are no longer popular. But I'm not sure about the current popular YouTuber can really keep their fame or not, because right now fanatism to certain people is way more bigger than they used to be,
Bomb has been planted.
especially when the influencer or the public figures also try to make them stay on those fame. So that's the reason why I think they're most likely like an eternity fame, but at least until we are eventually die. Obviously.
Bomb defused.
Because most of the human will have
Mission
similar
success.
age.
All right, let's move out. Nice shot.
As there's the end of the world or the apocalypse came earlier. I'm not sure.
Fire in the hole!
Can't ever predict that.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the
Because
hole!
there will be a lot of chaos in this world.
Fire in the hole!
Because
Fire in the hole!
overpopulation
Fire in the
is
hole!
such, it's just making the world is so complex. There's always be people that disagree with your opinion, no matter how true it is. So unless you're having a real superpower, which is pretty much impossible because that's against the law of physics. most of the time, things that against law of physics just cannot be reproduced over and over again. Because if it can be reproduced over and over again, it will turn into some sort of technology. So technology is basically a magic that we never think about
All right, let's move out.
in the past and never really. It's if this kind of thing is just
Fire in the hole. Fire in the hole.
transfer or shown into
Fire in the
all
hole.
people living in the dark age, it will be something magical. I'm not sure. Well, it's still quite a while until reaching the simulation of that's basically really similar to real life, because basically if you talk about the games like this, it's just maybe like movable painting, perhaps. I'm not sure. So the last round, I think there's only 40 seconds left. I'm not sure whether, even though the game is still pretty long, but yeah,
Red team win.
I guess I'm the last one still alive, so I'm actually lose again. Man, 46 minutes of video, it's pretty long. I'm still having a 15 minutes of unboxing video that I need to do first. Not sure. So yeah, I just quit the